Okay, so this podcast is going to be a quick one. It's about how you should make your gap year productive. I'm your host with my co-host Hamza Abdullah. I'm Ali Shamim, and today we also have a guest. This is like a test guest, but like because she says our friend, so like not really a guest. It's like he is part of the HUMARII CHAII family. She is an artist studying at IVS, somebody who has not taken a gap year. Uh, but that is his value over here on the podcast because he will basically argue against our points. This is probably one of the most pre-planned videos or
Yeah, boys.
podcasts that
There's a
we have
list
had. So we have a list.
overly exposed. Yeah.
So Hamza, start with your favorite point first. Something
Okay,
that's based
bro.
on your experience.
Okay, what I would say people need to do in their gap year is definitely have a plan, because most people in a gap year they enter it and they think it's a break from studying, and then they start taking that break, and then they don't give a fuck about what they're doing in life anymore. They're just like, दो तीन हफ्ते तो ले लेते हैं छुट्टी. We'll chill out for a bit. We need a break, much deserved break. The one minute you take that 2 week break, bro, you're fucked. But that break isn't ending in 2 weeks. Let's be honest. That's at least going on for 2 to 4 months. You're going to be waking up in the night, sleeping in the morning. It's horrible. It's a shit cycle to be in. You probably know it. You're
Yeah.
in quarantine, and
And you do
it's
not
not your
want to
time.
be in that routine.
Yeah, bro,
Once
you
you're
don't
in,
want to be
it's really
there.
harder to get
Very,
out. It's really hard to
So
very
get out.
well.
yeah, so if you have like a plan, like a list, if you have like what Ali put in a way where you have to have super ambitious plans, but like I also think you need to be pragmatic about your plans. You can have like whatever the fuck kind of plan you want, but you have to have a way of achieving that plan, a list, and then you successively go through that list in your gap year, and then that's basically what I think the most important part of the gap year is. Now we're gonna listen to Sheece and take a guest perspective. Sheece, come on, hit me, bro.
What do you want to know, bro?
Bro, you tell me
And
what your most annoying. Okay, what's the most annoying thing you think about when people tell you they took a gap year? What annoys you the most about them? Bro, there is something that annoys people, bro. Batao.
She has a lot of friends who took a gap year.
Yeah, bro, you have to hit me with the bro. When you just think, yeah,
first
shut the
it's you
fuck
do.
up.
सबसे पहले तो तुम दोनों.
Yeah, but you can't tell
Yeah,
us
yeah.
to shut the fuck up. But like,
Hmm.
somebody else, like the people we know, but we can't name
Honestly,
because Ali is obsessed with them.
honestly, honestly, nothing really, because they
Jeez,
all
bro,
have
you
the
need to
same.
bring the chaska to this podcast, bro.
Oh,
Yeah.
bro, क्या इसका वो कुछ
Bro, मैं तुम्हें पास कर दूंगा शीश. मैं तुम्हें शीश को मैंने पास कर दिया.
pass
Ali,
कर
why
दो.
don't you bring it up, bro? Why don't you talk about
You
your
bring
point
it
of
up, bro.
view?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
bro.
so one of the things that I am really glad that happened to me that I didn't plan was that I got a job straight away,
Oof,
like right
Nokri.
in my first war. And I learned this after I had left my job that the point of I would say get a job right away. Even if it's a
Yeah.
job that you don't like, get a 9 to 5 job. It is going to be your first taste of how the real world works, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And other than that, because coming back to the first point, your routine and your habits are going to be your best friend. So the thing is कि once you're left to your own devices, होता ये है कि आप भूल जाते हैं कि अच्छा आप इस वक्त कर लेंगे because your schedule is then truly yours, which is great.
Yeah, it's
But
incredibly fluid.
it's a really powerful tool, but if you don't know how to control it, na, it's like that Thanos ka wo. It's like really powerful if you know how to manage your time.
Bro, Thanos controlled it pretty well, but like that's not the point.
But
He did what
it's
he
like
had
Yeah,
to
that.
do.
Thanos
It's like
lost the Infinity Gauntlet to someone else, not because he
yeah,
couldn't control it.
but
Bro,
but
this isn't about to become a podcast on Avengers Endgame. We can make one of those later.
yeah,
I'm completely
yeah.
down for it, but अभी नहीं.
But to just to like summarize that point, उससे ये होगा कि you will be intact with a worldly like realistic routine, and you will still be accountable to someone, because once you're fully accountable to yourself, it gets really tough transitioning into
I
that
think
phase, because
that's
once you have
something
like
I
university or like once you have like high school or high school के अंदर you have, if you're taking tuitions जो पाकिस्तान में काफी ज्यादा होता है, you're always, even if you're very lazy and you don't manage your time well, you still show up. So
Yeah.
like showing up is like 90% of the work, 80% of the work.
Yeah, but like
So
one other thing about having a job is you learn to make money in the real world,
yeah,
and making money is good because like if you come from a wealthy family, then it's a disposable income, And if you don't come from a wealthy family, then you're just supporting your household. So it's like not already, there's no loss in making money.
Also,
Not
you
going to get into the
understand how to make create value with your own like work. जो you
Yeah.
school में नहीं सिखाते, because school में eventually it's like ये लो grade ले लो.
Yeah, like one thing Sheece does is
Yeah,
he does a lot of commission work. Like even though he didn't take a gap year, Sheece does make a lot of money on his own,
Yeah.
which is important. Now you can
I
talk about
think
that,
the
Sheece.
yeah, so biggest thing I think I learned and still actually haven't learned properly from doing jobs is how to actually communicate with people. Like for a fact that I cannot actually demand a good enough price for my work. I have to
Oof,
talk to
you
a
guys
or
don't know
somebody.
WhatsApp group में message आता है. How much should I charge? And then Sheece is always like 5K. I'm always like 25K. She's like 25 is too much. I'm like 25 is fine. He's like no, 25 is too much. And then we end up negotiating and we're both like 15. And then 15 is fine. It's okay. But then she doesn't charge 15. She just charges fucking 7. And because he starts
Yeah.
negotiating with them, but I was supposed to be them. Okay, but anyway, yeah, continue. Go. Sorry.
Yeah, so that's how I'd say that. I think the best part about getting a job is you learn to manage money, like Ali said. Sorry, like Hamza said,
Yeah. Totally.
and you have something to like keep track of yourself because without school there to hold you down, you're just
Yeah,
gonna
but
waking up at night being lazy that I can just put this amount of work off till this day. That's kind of what
there's
I'm doing right now.
and there's also something very freeing about having purchasing power. When you want to eat something or you want to go out, you want to live your life,
Yeah, you don't
you don't
have
have
to
to go to your
rely on
parents.
anybody else.
Yeah, you can just be
Yeah.
like, मेरे बैंक में तो पैसे हैं क्योंकि
Yeah.
मैंने काम किया है.
Exactly.
So
And
that's
that's
always nice.
really empowering, because uh it's like two things about it. See, the thing with a 9 to 5 is, or doing like a job for anyone, is that you're still at their disposal, right? Lekin you also understand that you aren't, because you can skip in life. It's not like in school you have one teacher, and even if you are learning well and you don't do good on tests, they will still like not give you. In the real world, if one job isn't working for you, you can still like uh, work a bit differently and get another one and prove your worth for the same value that you were providing to someone else. And freelancing, when this applies, sometimes you won't have the best client and you're giving them so much like genuine value, and then you switch to another one, and it's like uh, they understand your value, the value you're providing them. So that's really good. Okay, so let's just get to the
The
third
next point.
yeah,
Yeah, the
third.
next.
Yeah, sure. The third point is cut all baggage and be more physical. Okay. So cut all baggage refers to basically, you cut down all the emotional baggage or the physical baggage or any sort of like baggage you have coming out of A levels or metric or whatever you're doing inter jo bhi. Because when you come out, bro, it's like ab aate hain and you have all of the shit collectively of the past 18 years of your life on you, and you need to take a time to like shower and like get it all off you. And the
Yeah.
gap year is like gives you enough time to start the process of healing and like start the process of becoming better. And like one thing that goes in direct relation to that is you need to start doing something physical. Like you need to like, it's like go to the gym, but if you don't want to like work out, then you can swim, you can play tennis, you can do something, run, cycle. Ali cycled a lot in his gap year.
Yeah,
And yeah,
I did
she's
everything that I could,
yeah,
honestly.
she's probably plays some mean V tennis though, bro. But it's a joke, bro. She's relaxed.
No, not tennis. Not tennis.
Yeah, but it was a joke.
No,
But
but like as soon as I got out of A levels, I started exercising more and trying to fix my sleeping schedule.
yeah,
That's the
like
first
all of
thing I
these
did.
things are very important. And
Yeah,
obviously,
because
she's didn't.
oh god, like once you take a gap year,
Oh,
your physical activity, like especially if you haven't gotten a job, right?
oof.
Your physical activity is going to drop.
Yeah, man.
It's like
Hmm.
it goes back into that whole accountability thing, because uh even when I was like, my gym schedule was really bad, I would say. Like there was a month I would go in and I would like be consistent, and then I would drop. Then एक दिन में उठकर 50 kilometers cycle कर लेता था. So that is not the way to go about it. But your overall physical activity is going to drop simply because you're not going to school anymore. You're like not interacting with people on the same level. Like when you're in A levels, या अपने like in school, you have a classroom. So आपकी जो बहुत सारी human needs होती है ना, of social interaction, physical movement, they're like being met by default because you're, in society in some way. You're in the structure of society. लेकिन जब आप gap year में आते हैं, you're basically saying, okay, I'm going to step out from the system.
Yeah.
But system का benefit ये होता है कि it's still providing you hopefully a good quality, if not a good quality, an okayish quality of
Life.
people around you and physical activity. And in my
Yeah.
opinion, it doesn't provide you a good like at least like Pakistan ke level mein, because like Hamza said, baggage jo hai, what he basically means is ke when society provides you with social interaction, basically जो आपके college में होता है, फिर आपके workplace में होता है, you can end up being really lucky and find people जो you vibe with, or you could end up with people who are really toxic. So that isolation can be beneficial for you to finally decide.
Keyword isolation, COVID-19.
जो बात है.
Okay, yeah. Next point, since this is going to be a quick podcast. Yeah, bro, since this is going to be a quick podcast, I'm going to sum up all the rest of the points into one mega point.
Yeah.
So we can end it after. And it's like, basically, the overlying theme is your gap year will not be what you want it to be, or you expect it to be, or you even slightly think what it might be like. Like, people go into their gap year thinking, you're going to make a 6-figure salary because,
Startup करूँगा.
Yeah, bro, startup तो बनाऊंगा. Bro, बनाओ. Like, obviously you should make one. Like, don't expect it to monetize in your gap year though, please. But if it does, bro, again, mashallah.
Contact us, bro.
Yeah, bro. Like, honestly, like करा दो थोड़े. But other than that, like, what I mean to say is, like, first things first. Like, a lot of people take a gap year because they haven't applied, or they don't get into the universities they want to, or like they just haven't applied because of laziness, or like wo time nahi tha yaar, all of these randi rone. But the thing is, you apply. Like, shuru mein you start applying, and you don't like, okay, so a lot of people make a list in the beginning of the unis they want to apply to, and then they just forget about it because abhi tak applications nahi khuli hain, ye nahi hua. You should have your application ready prior to even their date opening. Like, you should know, because you know what all they're going to ask you. You know what's happening. You know the information you need to gather, the paperwork you need to have, and you've done your gap year. That means you should give your IELTS if you're applying abroad. You should give your SATs. You should do all of that shit. You should get that done, so that there's no latency in your like actual application itself, whether you're applying domestically, internationally, or whether you're like Adobe.
Yeah, I made this mistake. Mistake and I regret it. Like,
definitely made this mistake. We all remember.
What did you do, Sheece? Because everybody knows what mistake Ali made. It's on the full podcast.
Let's see. I tried to apply for a couple of places. Found out that they were not the best fit for me.
Yeah.
Both in terms of geography, and then in the end, I decided, okay, you know what? I'll push those aside, do them for my masters, and just apply somewhere here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like it's like you see what you want to do, you see what you can do, where your opportunities and your abilities are.
I'd say the easiest way to sum it up would be look at how the options you have and then decide how.
And that added time is a benefit now.
Yeah, the time does give you a bit. Like she's went to IBS. I think IBS starts in January, right?
Yeah, it starts in
January. So you get like September through Jan off in the first in your pehla saal. Okay, so that does give him a bit of a time off. He has had a gap year ka shuru. He's at the good part of the gap year where you're doing shit, not the second part where you're just like, what am I doing? Yeah, bro. And like finally, and like this is what we're probably gonna end it on is like basically be more proactive. And like she said, don't be that proactive because she has this belief that if you overburden yourself with the workload, you'll collapse, which is true. And then Ali has this belief that in your gap year, it is the only time you can actually find what your limit is, or at least find what your current limit is at that point. And if you don't take the work on as much as possible, you won't find out how much you're actually capable of doing because you have no other like what's the word for responsibilities during your gap.
Yeah, because I'll be honest. One last point, and we'll just end it. The thing is, when you're young, you can disappoint people and get away with it. Yeah. Like straight up, there were so many clients jinke saath mera kaam like nahi, I'm serious. And there were so many clients jinke saath mera kaam hua. Secondly, you can walk up to people and ask them for information जो otherwise लोग easily नहीं देंगे क्योंकि तुम बोलोगे oh I'm a student, like use
सही
that
है.
to your benefit. And the last is कि you can forgive yourself and you can be like oh I failed but this was a gap year. So it's like video games में sandbox video games जो होते हैं ना, the world is your oyster.
Yeah.
I say कि
Minecraft,
overburden
basically.
yourself, like really try to capitalize on that.
But
You
as
know?
much as you're overburdening, I think she's like, what do you feel? Think about this shit, bro. Tum karo.
I think like okay, he's right about the fact that you have enough time, so you should take as many jobs as you possibly can to find out what your limit is.
Yeah.
But you should also take those jobs knowing that these are short term commitments that I'm making that can be cut off easily. Don't take like long term commitments for like that span 2 to 3 months and then
Yeah.
cut them off and this is
Hey,
my
Ali
limit.
started a Vara Parinde, bro. That was a long-term fucking commitment, bro.
Yeah, and it's
That was
still going
very
on. It's like, but that's like a self-made thing. So,
Yeah,
uh,
like,
there
I think, yeah,
there are three types of
go ahead.
commitments. Now, that it's like if you're, let's say, creative context में देख रहे हैं. I did a job. I did a proper 9 to 5 job. I did it full time, so that's 40 hours per week. I did
Yeah.
it part time, that was 20 hours per week, and I
Then you did
basically,
freelance.
yeah, I did freelance and I started a collective slash business type thing with my friends.
Entrepreneur.
Right? Right? So it's like uske saath saath I also tried doing a podcast with a friend. So
Acha.
there's a lot of shit I did, but it's like
Not this friend. You see, this one's actually,
yeah,
producing
committed.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you,
So
Kamran. Yeah, anyway.
so I would say ke, when I say overburden, I don't mean ke have a mental breakdown. Don't be
Yeah,
easy on
yeah.
yourself. Forgive
yeah.
yourself. The
Yeah,
point
forgiving
is
yourself is
to
important. Yeah.
the sandbox mentality is basically you say I am young, I can fail,
Okay.
right?
And
So yeah, that's it.
okay, so before we end this, I've kind of want to like give everybody something they can learn today. So I learned something new today. She's अपना glove दिखाओ बड़ा सबको.
Oh,
Bro, explain what the fuck that is because I realized that people use that shit right now. I thought it was some weird ass Kakashi fucking glove, like like keeping your pinky warm in the cold. Like what the fuck? But please explain.
Basically, this is a glove for digital artists, and basically any artist. It helps keep the screen clean and reduce friction with the screen when you're
Yeah,
skin.
using a pen
basically,
tablet.
if you're on paint tool, right, and you put 3 fingers on it, 3 line आती हैं. So this covers the 2 finger ताकि सिर्फ एक line आए. Yeah.
Yeah, basically you could say that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
You
No.
could
No.
that,
Bro,
yeah.
but guys, our
art for
socials
dummies.
are please don't forget to subscribe and like
Yeah.
this video. If you
Like,
want to
comment,
know
share, and
about our,
subscribe.
if you want to know
And
about
hit that bell button.
oh yes, and hit that
Hit that.
bell.
Oh,
Oh,
hit
ooh,
that
ooh,
fucking bell, guys.
ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Always on.
we have
All
we have a proper long episode on our gap year
Gap year.
journey.
Yeah.
We will link that in the description, or it might be showing up on the screen right now.
Mm.
And yeah, man, go watch that. There's new stuff coming up.
All right,
Thank you
and
for
go
tuning
follow
in.
Sheece on at SheecusChrist on Instagram.
Yeah, we will link that
Plugs.
below.
Yeah, we'll link it below.
She's ka kaam is brilliant. Go check
Yeah,
it
bro.
out.
Also, bro, like we'll have a different podcast with Sheece about his story. It's really fucking fun.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert, blind. Okay.
yeah.
Kind of, not fully.
Oh God, that's
Okay.
such a bad way of
here we
saying it.
go.
No,
Oh
bro,
my,
it's like when they find out, they'll find out. But like, okay, bye.
yeah, man. Chalo, khuda
Stop
hafiz.
recording.